Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For the Lord God shall slay thee.
Shall do what?
Shall slay thee.
God have slain us. When have he did this? During the transatlantic slave trade. God allowed this to happen. Let me ask you that. You believe in God, right? Is God in control of all things? Why did God allow these atrocities to happen to us? That's kind of vague though, because if that was the case, you could say that all black people, well, I don't want to go with their argument point, but that's kind of vague. You can't say that necessarily. Yeah, he does that in the individual level, but this right here, God ain't gonna allow you to go through something like this just to prove a point, like to show that you're stronger. It's a reason that this happened to us. This didn't happen to us to show that, oh, we can go through it. That was vague. That's a vague answer. I'm going to show you why. Give me that in Deuteronomy 28. I'm going to show you why God allowed this to happen to the black American and why he allowed this to happen to the Native American. Because you're talking about picking cotton from sun up to sundown, families being separated, sold on auction blocks, chains. You know, they used to have the chains on us so much and so long it started cutting through our skin. They used to put bags on our heads and kick us in the room with our sisters, made us have sex and reproduce with our sisters and mothers and aunties. That wasn't God trying to show us that we are strong people. That was God punishing us. I'm going to show you. Watch this. Give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass.
Verse 15, I mean.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So God told the Israelites way back when, this during the time of Moses, he said, if you do not keep my commandments, all these what?
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Is a curse a good thing or a bad thing? It's a bad thing. So God said, I'm going to give you commandments to keep. If you don't keep them, I'm going to curse you. He was talking to us as a people. Read verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Before we explain that, read verse 46.
Verse 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
For a what?
For a sign.
So God said these curses he gonna put on the Israelites was gonna be on us for a sign. How do you know that's Lee's chicken right there? Because the sign. How you know this West Florissant? Because the sign say this West Florissant. God said these curses or these bad things I'm gonna put on y'all, it's gonna be on y'all for a sign. Meaning identification. You're gonna be able to read what we about to read and be able to identify who these people are today. Because this was written 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 years ago. He said, he was talking to the Israelites. He said, these curses going to be on you for a sign, meaning identification today.
Read it again. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
For how long?
Forever.
How long?
Forever.
100 years.
Forever.
1,000 years.
Forever.
Meaning to this day, 2022. So these signs gonna be on us today, so we should be able to identify who they are today. You finna walk out? What happened? Watch this. Listen to this. Listen to these last few verses then. I ain't gonna hold you too long. Just listen to this. Watch this. Read verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So remember, God said these curses was gonna be on the Israelites forever. Meaning in 2022. So in 2022, the Israelites will be what?
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So when you look at the city of St. Louis, God said the Israelites was going to be cursed in the city. When you look at the city of St. Louis, who live in the hoods and ghettos and our communities? Well, in the city of St. Louis. Black people do. We got drugs in our community. We eat the worst foods. We make the lowest as far as economically amongst all the other races in America. We are cursed in the city. We fill up the penitentiaries. We murdering each other at alarming rates. We are cursed in the city. We're reading this in the Holy Bible. Read that again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
And how was we cursed in the fields? Picking sugar cane, picking cotton, tobacco. They worked us from sun up to sundown. When did the sun come up today? Around like 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7. So imagine you was working since 5, 6, 7, and you still working. Because the sun ain't went down yet. You still out there working. God said you was going to be cursed in the field. This happened to our ancestry today. This is what we read. Read verse 68, no, verse 32. Watch this.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fell with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand.
What does that mean? Whose sons and daughters was given unto another people? Was not our sons and daughters sold? That's talking about being separated, families being separated on auction blocks. This happened to us. This is recorded in the Holy Bible. God told our ancestors years before it happened that as a result of sin, result of disobedience, he was going to separate their families. He was going to sell their children. This is Bible prophecy and historical fact. Read that again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Who is our sons and daughters given to? Who you see on this picture right here? Who is they being sold to? There you go. That's who God is talking about. The white man. Our children were sold to the white man. Read on.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fell with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand.
Meaning what? When they separated our families and sold our children down the road to Master Charles, down in Cape Girardeau, or down in Sykeston, we didn't have no might in our hand to go get our children back. We couldn't do nothing about it. Today, when the white man take our kids, it's called, what they call it, child services. We have no might and power in our hand to take them back. All the teacher got to do is you send your child to school one day, the teacher been complaining in the principal's ear, you ain't even been knowing it. All of a sudden one day, your teacher, that teacher, some social workers and the police show up to your door and they taking your kid and you can't do nothing about it. You got kids? Imagine that. Imagine your kids' school teachers knocking on your door with the police, taking them away. Oh, your child said that he ain't ate in 2 days. Or your child said that sometimes you be gone for long periods of time. You got a choice, you got a chance to explain it, but for now we're going to take your kids. And you can't do nothing about it. That's what happens today in the black community, and we reading it in the Holy Bible. Question, Let me ask you one more question, because I know you said you got to go. Now, how did the black man get here to America? Yep. There you go. That man, y'all got to. You said by way of what? By ships. The black man, you know what year this happened? 1990. You close. 1619 is when they say officially they began bringing us from the shores of Africa to North, Central, and South America on slave ships. The book of Deuteronomy, the book we're reading out of right now, was written thousands of years prior to 1619. Meaning what we reading right here was written before this happened. I'm going to show you how real this Bible can get though. I'm going to show you how real this Bible is. Read verse 68. How did we get here? Ships. Read verse 68.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. With what? With ships.
How did the black man get here? With ships. Now, this place is America. We was brought here to America on ships. So why does God call America Egypt? Give me that in Exodus 20 and verse 2. We're going to explain it real quick. Watch this. Hey, can somebody fix this sound? Watch this. What you got?
The book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Read it again, nice and slow.
And I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
You said, God said he brought the Israelites out of Egypt once before with Moses. And we split the sea and they walked through. He freed the Israelites from Egypt. Read.
Out of the house of bondage.
What does he call Egypt?
Out of the house of bondage.
So God calls Egypt the house of bondage. You know what bondage means?
Struggle.
Bondage. That's one definition. That's right. That's one definition.
That's what I kind of think bondage kind of is.
Bondage means, that's one of the definitions, but the main definition is slavery. To have someone in bondage, that means captivity, against their will, in chains, slavery. Because the Israelites were slaves in Egypt. Remember, Moses had the freedom out of slavery. They was there for 400 years. So he referred to Egypt as the house of bondage. So going back to verse 68, read verse 68 again.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
So when he says, I'm going to bring you back into Egypt, Egypt in the Bible means slavery. He wasn't talking about the literal place, because in the Bible they didn't go back into Egypt as slaves. This Egypt he's talking about is America. This Egypt is slavery. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Into slavery again.
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
How did the black man come to the shores of America? On slave cargo ships. And what happened to this black man once he came over here?
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold.
You shall be what?
You shall be sold.
What happened to the black man after he got off the slave ships? He got sold. And I'm going to prove to you that when God says, I'm going to bring you into Egypt on ships, he was talking about America. You got a dollar bill? Matter of fact, I think I got one. Yep, shalom. Yep. So God says, check. So God says he was going to bring the Israelites into what? Read it again, verse 68.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So we was brought here to the shores of America on slave ships. Now when you look on the back of the dollar bill, the greener side, it says, what does it say on the top? United States of America. The same place we was brought here on ships. Now on the left hand and the right hand side of the dollar, what do you see?
The one, you talking about the one?
I'm talking about the two big emblems right there. Right there, and right there.
I never know what it says.
But no, I'm just saying, what is that?
Pyramid.
The pyramid. Now, the pyramids are synonymous with what? True, that's true. But where are the pyramids found? in Egypt. Oh! What does Egypt have to do with the United States of America? Bondage. We served as slaves in Egypt when Moses had to free us, and we served her in America. This is the place God said he was going to bring the Israelites to on ships. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again,
Into America, slavery. Read.
with ships.
With slave cargo ships. This was Bible prophecy and historical fact, proving to you that this is the only true book on the face of the earth, and we are the people in it. That's facts. Finish that off.
Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you should be sold unto your enemy.
To our who?
Unto your enemy.
Who was we sold to here in America?
Master, slave master.
Right. What people were they? Caucasian. What does God call them?
Your enemies.
I call them our enemies. We were sold into our who?
Your enemies for bond men
Put the men in slavery.
and bond women. And no man shall buy you.
God says that no man shall buy you. What does that mean? Because he just said you was going to be sold. Buy you, it was an old English word meaning redeem you or save you. No man has yet to save the black man out of the conditions we have been in for the last 400 years. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all the black revolutionaries throughout the years tried to rise up and fight for the black man. God said, no man shall save you. The only man that's going to save us out of the conditions we in today is Jesus the Christ, the black Messiah. That's the only man that's going to save us.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brothers, be strong in the Lord. His word